welcome back to the bunker. Today we're going to be talking about angles. So angles are super important. I do them constantly. A lot of people deal with them constantly. We're not really going to go too much in depth because as you're getting ready to see, I own a plethora of different types of tools to measure, to help cut, to assist in whatever I need to do in order to work on different types of angles, whether that be metal conduit, whether that would be steel, whether that be wood, whether that be piping or plumbing, tile work, baseboards. It doesn't really matter. You're always going to kind of come, if you're working with some type of project, you're going to come in contact with having to deal with angles. So I'm not going to necessarily go so much in depth. I don't think you guys are building a baby grand piano. I think you're more like doing a Saturday project where you want to put some new baseboard, into a bathroom, or maybe you are, I don't know, I'm just throwing this out there, building a log cabin in the middle of nowhere, and you kind of have rudimentary tools to do the type of job that you need to do. Yes, I'm looking at you, Doc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the tricks and trades that I've learned, some tips over the years of, well, what if you don't have really anything? Maybe you just have a ruler on you. Maybe you just have a piece of wood as a straight edge, and you need to be able to figure out how to figure out what angle needs to be cut, and how to cut it, and how to install it, and never pick up a pen and pencil or your cell phone calculator to figure that out. So I'm going to show you a few quick simple little methods that I've learned, and then I'll go in and I'll show you guys like framing a square or a speed square. A speed square to me is sort of like the MacGyver of all measuring tools. They're fantastic. If you don't have one, I highly recommend you get one. So let's go ahead and deep dive in and figure out some cool little new tricks. All right, guys, for this first one, it's going to be the most easiest, I believe, of the different ones I'm going to show you. So I've got 3 pieces of wood here. I recommend using scrap if you're going to do this. So I've numbered them so you can kind of keep track of how I'm doing what and where. Big key thing, if this trick is going to work, every single piece needs to be the same exact width between the 3. If one is slightly smaller than the other, it's not necessarily going to work. So make sure that you get 3 pieces of scrap that you can use in order to do this. Okay, first thing we're going to do. All I don't even need that. Throw that out of there. I just need a pencil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take board number 1. By the way, there's my wall. Yes, I built a wall. Insert political jokes. Okay, so I'm going to put it to where it's on the outside of this wall, like I'm putting in baseboard or something. This doesn't matter how far out it is, as long as we take this other piece, and what we're going to do is we're going to line this flush with this side of the wall and align this one side on that flush side of the wall. Then we're going to take our handy dandy pencil and we're going to make some marks here, and we're going to make some marks over here. Now what we're going to do, we're going to remove number 2, and then you can look at board number 1. You'll see that we have 2 lines from the width of that wood. What I need you to do is we're going to make a line from here to here. Now, if you don't have anything on you, say a straight edge or something like that, if you have a good decent amount of lumber, okay, not something that's super wavy, what I recommend doing is using that as a straight edge. And so you're just going to go corner to corner, like so. Now, I already know, because I've been doing this trick for a while now, to ignore those lines, but if it helps you, you can cross those out, or you can erase them. Doesn't really matter. The only thing we're worried about is this line right here. And I'm going to put my saw blade like right here. Okay, so Okay, now that I've gotten everything set up, you'll notice that I have these numbers that are on here. That's your degrees. I'm going to completely ignore those. The only thing I'm going to do is, for this particular model, I'm going to unlock it, and I'm going to move it until this saw blade gets perfectly lined up with that line that we drew earlier. Now, the way I like to do is I'll bring mine out a little bit and just kind of move and walk the blade and make sure that it's on there. Another thing you can do, you Marines understand this. Remember that rear aperture, right? Good sight alignment, side picture. Maybe not so much to your newer guys where you shot with the ACOGs or you cheated, but the real Marines that actually shot with iron sights. What you want to do is you want to align your eye, and you can set it down on the lumber and move the wood a little bit, and then you can see if it's sitting flush with the saw blade. Once you've done that, I've learned in the past that will get you within 1/16 of an inch, 32nd of an inch, which is way more precision that we're looking for in this one. So then what we're gonna do is we're actually just gonna head and we're gonna cut it. I, like your shop teacher, recommend you wear eye pro. Don't do what I just did. Wear some glasses. Now we're gonna take this back over to the other side of the table and do it again with piece number 3. Now, we're going to take this and we're going to go make sure that is the proper angle. So let's go do that. Okay guys, now that we're back over here at our wall, we're going to go ahead and test out these 2 pieces, and they should, aligning with the corner, it'll come out perfectly. Now, granted, you're going to have a little bit of a gap here and there. Don't worry about that. And the reason why I say this is because there is no such thing as a perfect wall. Matter of fact, I actually purposely made this not a perfect 90 degrees because there's no such thing as a 90 degrees in house construction. Believe it or not, it's a plus or minus 1/4 of an inch when they're doing framing. But you can see that's pretty darn close. I think that will work. Now what we're going to do is, now we tested the pieces. We know they're the proper angle there. What I'm going to do is now I'm going to take this number 2 piece, and I'm going to use it as if it is my baseboard. And because, well, let's just face it, I'm using this stuff for scrap to kind of give you guys an idea. I am going to use this piece to be my other baseboard, and I'm not touching or moving the saw at all. I now know that I have the perfect angle between these 2 sides. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the pieces this way, aka I'm going to cut one this way, I'm going to cut one this way, and so that I get my 45, much like how you see here with these 2x3 pieces. So let's go to our saw and do that now. Okay, now we're back at the table. Let's go ahead and test to see if we got our cut right. And look at that. All right, y'all, so this is going to be the next one. Again, I don't really recommend it, but if you're in a pinch, and again, you don't have the tools available to figure all this stuff out, just another method you could do. Grab 2 pieces of paper, and you can put them into that corner, okay? Once you got them there, you're going to need a piece of tape. Doesn't have to be painter's tape, just a piece of tape, and you're going to tape those 2 pieces of paper together. Then what you're going to do is, while keeping this side down, you're going to fold over the paper, and you're going to want to watch, okay? Slowly, you want to bend the paper and fold it until the paper here lines up with that corner, and the closest you can get here, you want it to go as much into like what I would call a 45 as possible. Once you get it, that looks good. Okay, so now I've got my template here. You can see I've got a nice good 45 looking kind of deal there. And now we're gonna head over to our saw. All right guys, same thing we did before, okay? We're gonna line this up. This is pretty much the wall there. Fold this back. I got in the way in the wall. And then what I'm gonna do is use that as a template. Kind of go like that. So just cut that new angle in. Okay guys, now we got our pieces back together. Let's see what kind of joint we got out of it. Okay, so see, it absolutely did the job. It got a nice good little angle there. One thing I will say though is you'll notice there's a little bit of a gap there. I mean, not terrible. I mean, it got you super, super close. If you're doing baseboard and trim, most of the time you're going to be caulking this and painting the whole thing anyway. You're never going to see it. So if you're doing a really, really quick job, or you know, you're going to be painting it, so what difference does it make? Then yeah, I think that's pretty daggone close. And again, all I did was some 2 pieces of paper with some tape, and still got to be able to get a pretty decent joint out of it.